We all know Bulma is the richest person on Earth, and some may even go as far as saying she's the richest in Dragon Ball. But that couldn't be further from the truth. She's just a big fish in a small pond. When you take a moment to zoom out into the big picture, you soon realize that Frieza is without a doubt the richest being in Universe 7. And more than being the villain that we know him to be, Frieza is a businessman, a pretty brutal one at that, as he specializes in the bloody and extremely profitable business of conquering and trading planets. And like any founder of a huge corporation, Frieza outsources the dirty work to his underlings and subordinates in order to keep his business running without his direct input. In Frieza's huge operation, there are two departments that keep his empire running smoothly. We first off have the army, or the soldiers. These guys are the muscle of the group. They are sent out on missions to conquer and commit mass genocide on entire alien races. Following them is the research and development department, which help by gathering intel and providing soldiers with the necessary equipment to make their raids easier. And in just 5 simple steps, these two departments work together in an intertwined web for Frieza's empire to flourish. Step 1 involves research and investigations. Before the army is given instructions to attack or invade any planet, Frieza's employees like Elec conduct investigations by sending out scouts, spies, or surveillance drones to find planets that are suitable for life across the universe. Proof of this is Sorbet in the Resurrection F movie, asking one of his underlings if they are done tracking the surviving Namekians, and the soldier responds by saying that even with their spy drones, they still couldn't locate the Namekians. This proves that the Frieza force does have people who are assigned to act as spies, and that I'm not making this up. These spies are always told to target planets that are already inhabited by other aliens, because this makes them inherently more valuable than say a barren wasteland that cannot support life, such as planet Vampa. The research of extraterrestrials serves 2 purposes. 1, to check out if the planet is worth invading, and whether if they were to spend their resources on attacking that planet, will they profit enough from selling it. Number 2, they need to gauge how strong the aliens that reside on that specific planet are. This is done so that only soldiers with an accurate power level are sent, which avoids an unnecessary loss of soldiers that are too weak to finish the job, thus increasing the success rate of their missions. Because as a business, the failure of an invasion can cost them a lot of money. In this business, the planets themselves are the product, and in order to find customers who buy the product, further research is conducted by locating other alien races that are struggling to survive on their home planet, be it due to a civil war or a natural disaster like the one that occurred on Namek many years ago, a storm that almost caused the extinction of the entire race. Another reason could be that the aliens are stranded in space looking for a new home. An example of this is Granola's home planet, Planet Cereal, being sold to the Shugarians, a race of aliens who are wandering in space in search of a new home. So now that the product and the customer have been identified, you'd assume that it's time to attack, but that is only half correct. Step 2, which is preparation, still needs to be done. This is where scientists in the Frieza force do the heavy lifting, because first of all, Frieza soldiers don't just fly off to their targeted planet without spaceships, so they'll have to build them new spaceships or do some repairs on the damaged ones and reuse them for the following missions. Secondly, the soldiers need to be equipped with support gear, so for that they have armors they have developed for protection and guns to increase their firepower. Lastly is the production and the supply of scouters. Because every single Frieza soldier can sense ki, scouters help them to read the power level of their enemies, communicate battle strategies with each other in combat, as well as locate every single living being on a specific planet that they are attacking, so that there are no survivors left and the purge is complete. Now that the soldiers are ready and equipped, we move on to step 3, which is to invade the planet. Now under step 3, the instructions are simple. The soldiers must invade, kill, and leave no survivors. The soldiers are permitted to be as gruesome and violent as they want, so long as they don't severely damage the planet itself to the point that it becomes destroyed or a total wasteland that is uninhabitable. One thing which I assume is that if the planet has some valuable treasure or artifacts that are worth a lot, such items will be collected and brought back to home base by the soldiers. After the mission is over, it's time for the surviving soldiers to return to their home base, either to heal in the chambers or to recover and wait for the next mission. But the invasion is only one part of the process. The next step, which is step 4, involves the healers, who are the brokers for the Frieza force, and that is the selling of the planet and the profiting from its gains. This is where the second to last step comes into play, where the healers evaluate the planet to check if there are any remaining survivors and eliminate them if there are, They also evaluate the condition of the planet to estimate its value and how much it can be sold. Now, before the planet is sold, the Heaters build domed cities for the new aliens to increase their standard of living, which could mean for most planets that are conquered, reconstructions need to be done to rectify the damage done by the soldiers during the invasion. Another thing is that the piles of bodies that accumulated during the attack are removed by the Heaters, and like the wolf in sheep's clothing, the Heaters ensure that their customers never know they are affiliated with the Frieza force, which increases the likelihood of them buying the planet. As for the price of the planet, we saw in a flashback from the Granola arc that Elec charged the Shugarians 100 billion pol for planet cereal, which is some sort of space currency that we can't actually quantify into dollars. But we see that in the Broly movie, Moro and Granola arc, that there is some space money which can be considered pol. It's one of these metallic items that are shaped like bullets. And Granola was paid a bag full of these by Elec after his mission to retrieve OG-73. Another valuable item that can be used as payment is a mineral called Sky Gold or Blue Aurum. This mineral is extremely valuable, and we first saw it in chapter 41 of the manga in the Moro arc, where Miras was retrieving a train full of Blue Aurum, which Moro's goons stole from planet Jung. According to Jaco, if enough of this material is gathered, a bomb that can detonate an entire planet can be created. He also explains that it is used to power various machines like spaceships, and this speaks volumes to its value. The only time we've seen Sky Gold be used as a form of payment is when the Heaters gave Chi-Chi some of it so that Goku can be fueled to fight against Granola. So after the selling is complete, it's time for Elec to split the money with the Frieza force, and Frieza will pay his soldiers and scientists for their hard work. Now the final step after this is step 5. During invasions, soldiers die, aircrafts get destroyed or damaged, and this is where the money is invested back into the business to hire new soldiers or replace the dead ones, do repairs on ships, as well as redistribute the money for more investigation so that they can plan for future attacks. From here on is rinse and repeat all of the steps until you become the richest being in Universe 7 like Frieza. But if we're being honest, Frieza's business model is not sustainable in the long run. It relies on driving entire species of aliens to extinction, and we all know that it takes hundreds of millions to possibly billions of years for a species on a single planet to evolve to become ones of high reasoning and intellect like humans. And that is a bad thing because we have Supreme Kai over here, the literal god of creation of Universe 7, telling us that there are only 28 planets with intelligent life in his universe. So if I were Frieza, here are a few ways I would expand my empire beyond just raiding and selling planets. Number 1 is we put our scientists to work on creating extremely deadly diseases which only we have a cure for. We then follow by spreading those illnesses to as many planets as possible. Once those aliens have suffered enough and are desperate for help, we can then come at a later stage and then sell them the cure for that disease for a ridiculously overpriced amount. The last method which Frieza can use to generate money for his empire is called space mining. For those who are unfamiliar with space mining, it is the concept that there are large asteroids out there in space that have minerals on them that are worth more than trillions of dollars, which Earth scientists plan to mine in the future. I mean, there is this specific asteroid called 16 Psyche that has an estimated worth of 10,000 quadrillion dollars. So with the amount of resources and financial backing the Frieza force has, they could easily discover and mine many of these space rocks that are scattered across the universe. In that way, they could make a lot of money out of them and not only limit themselves to the method of conquering and trading planets.